in this hour, yes, we have special guests. In my country with Scott Cannon, we have special guests from the Gary Black International Film Festival. Yeah, so how are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Super fantastic, Scott.
Yes,
Thanks
yes.
for having us.
So we have Miss Tony Simpson, right?
Absolutely.
And
Greg Manwaring.
yes, Greg Manwaring from the Gary Black International Film Festival. I want everyone to know that it is the 13th annual Gary International Black Film Festival is a hybrid event. So there are multiple ways that you can actually watch this. You can go in person at the campus of IUN in partnership with the IUN Office of Diversity, Equity, and Multicultural Affairs, or you can watch virtually. Most, but not all, of the films in the festival can be accessed from the comfort of your home or mobile devices. You have to register for a full festival pass for access to both the virtual and in-person films and events, or register for a virtual only pass and watch from anywhere. So that is pretty incredible. I want to thank you guys for being here.
Thank
Thanks
you for
for
having
having
us.
Yes. I've seen you guys have this event every year here in the city of Gary, and I'm always so sort of psyched to see things like this happening in the city of Gary, where, oftentimes in this city we're not thought of as a high cultural city, and so when we have these types of events, it's important that people get the word out about it. So I want to thank you guys for doing that. We have somebody on the phone. Let me see who this. Hello, caller.
Hello,
Yes. Who am I speaking to?
Tamika Soretti.
Yes. This is Miss Tamika Soretti. Thank you for being here with us on WLTH 1371 as well. So,
Thank you for having me.
yes, Miss Soretti, what exactly is your role in the Gary International Black Film Festival?
Well, I'll be there as a filmmaker. I have a film called The British Are Coming that will be screening opening night and the opening night short. And I wrote it, and I'm starring in it.
Wow. So that's a very sort of historic title. The British Are Coming. That's the infamous words of the late Paul Revere. What made you title the movie that, and how does it relate to the actual theme of your short?
Well, my short is in reference to British actors coming over to America, whether they live here already or come over to work on certain films or whatever. And it's about them, I'm not going to say stealing our roles, but, being cast in those roles, and especially roles of our Black American heroes like Martin Luther King or Harriet Tubman. But I wanted to take a funny poke at it. So hence it's comedy, and it's, I guess I could have said the British are here, but no, the British are coming. I thought that would catch people's attention.
Yes, that is actually a very poignant topic. I'm glad that somebody has brought that up. A lot of different groups, organizations like FBA, the Foundation of Black Americans, and ADOS, from the descendants of slaves. Those organizations have really very recently been talking about just this very topic. People like David Oyelowo, I think his name. David
Oyelowo.
Yeah, David Oyelowo playing Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Cynthia Erivo, I believe, played Harriet Tubman. And you have a lot of people like Idris Elba and my main man from Snowfall, Damson Idris. They really are taking over the sort of spaces of Black actors. And I've always wondered, for somebody who is in that world, from the entertainment world, what do you think it is about British actors that makes them take precedence over American actors?
I'm going to say, you know, you think in terms of British actors, a lot of times we think Shakespearean, we think, you know, kind of more trained and more versed. And so I think it's Key and Peele. They have a little skit where there's a guy, he's going to be a gangster in the movie, and they have a British actor, and they have an actual guy who is a gangster and lives the life, and he lives in the hood, and they choose the British actor over him because they're like, look at his technique, you know. So I think that they think that they're more trained, you know.
Right. Have you guys noticed that? Have you guys noticed the sort of the influx of British actors, not just black ones, but just period British actors are really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
Well, I'm torn because both my daughters live in London.
Oh,
La-dee-da. They're half British,
Correct.
but they're very American. Trust me, they don't even have the English accent. So I'm like, I'm hoping that they like reverse the trend over there and get hired up and stuff. But I don't know what it is. I've met Idris and Cynthia and all them, and it's just mind-boggling when they break out their British English, and I'm like, oh, whoa, okay, because I didn't know it. Like with Cynthia, I didn't know it until I heard her talk at the thing. But it's true. I don't know why that is, other than maybe they can get them cheaper. I don't know if it's that, because maybe they're not in the SAG-AFTRA because they're British. I don't know what it is.
Wow.
But it's definitely an issue. I hear it amongst my friends back in Hollywood, actors and actresses.
Yeah, I see it amongst a lot of with the Australians too. You see like the Hemsworths and the Margot Robbies and stuff, and you go, well, don't we have actors here?
Exactly.
We have we have Hollywood. We literally have Hollywood. We literally have like Juilliard in New York City and things like that. You could like trip and fall over actors all over New York and California, yet they feel the need to hire people who are coming from other parts of the Anglosphere, like Australia and Great Britain. Now, Greg, exactly what is your role in, tell us some of your background and what your role in the Gary International Black Film Festival
I'm going to be
is.
on a panel for animation because I just moved out here a month ago, moved back to Gary after 50 years away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Welcome back.
Thank you very much. And I was invited to be a panelist at the film festival, and I'm very honored to play that role. And I'm just thrilled to be back and to help Gary grow as a filmmaking community.
He's being very modest.
So when you left in the that would have been the 70s, right?
I left in '72. We moved to an army base in Germany.
Wow.
So I grew up over there. But I never forgot my childhood. I was 10 years old and stuff. So Gary has many, many memories for me.
So what is the difference? What is the main difference between what the Gary you remember and Gary now?
Oh, well, Gary, I knew back then, I have to say, I grew up in Glen Park, and it was very white.
Yeah.
And, I grew up in a multicultural situation on an army base. So I'm glad to be back and see that there's a bigger integration and less of the separation between people.
So what made you want to come back? Because a lot of times we have trouble retaining people, and we have trouble like getting the people who come from Gary to come back. So what made you want to come back?
Now listen, I've been coming back every year for visits, but my father's getting older, and I needed to come back and be here for him.
Right.
And since I was going to come back in that capacity, I wanted to dive feet first in or head first in and get my stuff going here and bring animation to Gary, and that's why I'm going to open up an animation school here. And
wow.
I'm already a professor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Thanks. I'm already a professor out. Well, I'm not officially a professor, but I teach animation at Otis Art Institute out in L.A., and I do it online here 2 days a week. I just came from teaching just now. So I'm just going to bring that to the community here, too, because I don't, as a kid growing up, even in Army base or had it been in Glen Park, we wouldn't have had access to the teaching skills of art of animation. And so And as it stands, if you want to learn animation, you got to go out to LA or the East Coast and pay $60,000 or $75,000 a year. So I'm trying to bring it more to the people here, you know, for a lot of reduced cost.
Wow, that is a very noble goal. My nephew works in animation and with video games and stuff in tech in Silicon Valley, actually, in San Francisco. He's out there, and you know, like you said, it's hard to be able to get involved in those types of fields here in the Midwest, in places like Gary. So I definitely want to thank you for trying to bring that back. Now, are you trying to work with young people? Are you trying to work with people who are already establishment? You know, maybe.
No, listen. I want to work with people that are serious about getting in the industry, because it's you know, it's somewhat expensive. I'm not going to say it's real expensive, but I'm just saying it's not a toy. It's not a hobby. It has to be something that you really are determined to become part of the industry somehow, or even if it's just with your own films or shorts or series. I encourage all my students to go out there and pitch series ideas, because you know they're buying up kids' ideas all the time. The Ricky and Morty and all these things those are coming from our youth. And so I'm always telling my kids, I'm encouraging them, please go out there and pitch, because you're going to be the next big thing out there, you know.
So how did you get involved in it?
Well, I was, like I said, I was growing up on the Army base, and I was 16, and my brothers had returned to the States to go to college, and I was like, okay, now I got to go back to college next year, so what am I going to do? Well, I love drawing, I love art. What kind of fields are there with art? And I was going through, you know, sculpting, commercial art, animation. Animation. Dude, I grew up on WGN, Ray Rayner. Hold on a minute. I love, and WFLDT with BJ and Dirty Dragon. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. So I wrote a letter out to Walt Disney Studios from Germany, and I said, how do I do this? And they wrote back and said, here's how you do it if you want to do it. And they encouraged me to go to a school called CalArts, and I didn't have the money for it, so I worked hard labor for 3 years on a base and saved up my money, got accepted, and yeah, that was 1983, and some of my classmates are pretty famous. One of my buddies is Don Cheadle.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Yeah, and Jesse Borrego and Jeff Thorne. These guys that we all just hung out.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
That is incredible. And, of course, last but not least, Miss Toni Simpson. The reason we're all here right now. Yes. So,
Thank you for having us.
It's all good. Introduce yourself to the audience and tell them what your role is with the Gary International Black Film Festival.
Well, 13 years now. I've been festival manager, and over the past couple of years, we created a fellowship program, and so I'm the director of that fellowship program. But at the end of the day, we're a small group of volunteers, and so all of our skills and responsibilities, you know, overlap. I'll put it like that.
So are you from here in Gary? I mean, is this your hometown?
Born, raised, bred, remained. Most people think I'm not here, but I'm always busy and working.
Yeah, so it's interesting to me, because since you said you've always been here, and he actually left, but like I said, we have a problem retaining people, keeping people from Gary here. What made you say, I love this city, I want to stay here, and I want to bring a certain amount of high culture to a city like Gary?
Exactly what you just said. First of all, this is the heartland. I was just having this conversation with Greg, and I'm always asked to go everywhere, you know. But as an artist, always wanting to create value right where I am, I understand that you take you with you. And so what I wanted to do, without all of the fuss and things, was to just remain here and make it happen, make everyone come here. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to do that since the Hatcher administration.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Well, we've got to actually take our first commercial break. It's already 6:20, folks. Please give us a call, 219-885-1371. That number again is 219-885-1371. If you have any questions about the Gary International Black Film Festival, or how you can get tickets, or how you can sign up to watch online, please stay with us here. WLTH 1370M, My Country with Scott Cannon. We'll be right back after these.